Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It is September 3rd, 2023. This is, as the title states, uh, the episode dealing with the behind the scenes process of how Montreal drafted. Anyway, please hit the likes, subscribes below in your right hand corner. We'd muchly appreciate that. Tell your friends and family about it. We could use building this community. And we will give you nothing but the straight facts. We shoot from the hip at this podcast. Some may not like it, but I will not stoop to clickbait or false news. If there's something that's questionable, I will always say that's what's being reported. I don't come out ahead of time and make my own news. Okay, so we're going to start with the behind the scenes, and this really gave us a great view of seeing Jeff Gordon play the devil's advocate. He played as being on really wanting Mitchkov and really making sure his team of scouts and Hughes in their debates behind the scenes um, came up with what they really thought. And he wanted to have a real good, solid, healthy debate, and they did. You could see the passion that was in them as they were putting forward their arguments on behalf of a player. It's quite evident that the Montreal Canadiens, this whole team of scoutings, were very high on Reinbacher, and for good reason. This kid's got way more upside than what we even know. A lot more offensive capabilities than we realize. What brings any numbers down, if that's being the case, is because he plays such a good defensive game, which means he just has a very solid all the way around game. So seeing what he was put through and seeing the psychological testing that is given to these players, you got to realize this is a multi-million, billion-dollar sport. Of course, this was no shock to me that there would be psychological testing. These guys are paying out big bucks to get put on a half-decent product on the ice. So they want to know they're spending their money right. It's a nice, fresh change from the prior regime of Marc Bergevin and his crew, because Marc wanted a whole bunch of yes boys. And that's what he got, and that's why we didn't get the greatest results on the ice. It needed to be overhauled a lot sooner than it has been. Thank God it's being done right now. But I liked seeing the fact that you didn't see Gordon and Hughes. They were arguing in two different directions. Hughes was on Reinbacher's bandwagon from the get-go, pretty much, and Gordon was Mitchkov. He really wanted to make sure that they didn't make a mistake on missing out on this type of player if they didn't have to. Because it's too hard to get these type of players. But the arguments showed there's too much confusion of what goes on over there in the KHL already. Now you see the last week with what's gone on with Mitchkov supposedly being sat. Again, this is reporting. How true it is, I don't know, but there does seem to be, with reports coming out, that there's good reason why they passed on him, and excellent reasoning why they did not pass on Reinbacher. He's going to be one of your top defensemen. No doubt in my mind, I can see him and Lane Hudson pretty much. He might come up slightly before Lane Hudson. It's hard to say. I think he will, because the right side needs a little more help, and he's probably more ready. But with that being said, so it was nice to see, and this kid is solid all the way through, just to see his answer to the bank question with an older woman being bypassed and the whole lineup being and how he would respond. And, it's a nice fresh change, because you want to get guys that are looking out for each other and have the right intentions in their mindset. We've seen players prior to, like the Petries, who didn't, and the whole team was loaded with that type of mentality of players that would do nothing for their teammates. So it's a nice fresh change. We've seen good response there. So I'm quite convinced, even though I was a Mitchkov, I wanted us to draft Mitchkov way back too. But seeing what is being revealed, it seems like they have made the right decision. I'm quite convinced myself now. And then, with our second, basically third rounder, but our next pick with being Fowler, um, seeing the process he went through and his answers in psychological testing were just wonderful. This kid is well, for an 18-year-old kid, way beyond his years in thinking process. He's fought all obstacles. Everybody's bet against him, and he's done nothing like the fight that was on for him to get the best goaltender they could. It made a lot of sense when you seen the arguments. This kid's done nothing but win since he's in where he's been, whoever he's played for, and has defied those who have bet against him. I wouldn't bet against him. I think this could be our future starter. I'm almost, the goaltenders are tricky. I know. I don't know if he'll be a Carey Price, but that's hard to do. But as long as he's a good, solid starter, a half decent one, we'll be all right because we got such a wonderful defense in front of us in the future. So, with that being said, that great responses from him as well, knowing he knew the homework on and showing his intelligence on the shooters, knowing which hand they shot from and how he has to position. That was very intelligent thinking when you looked at it. But when so I liked what I seen there, and then I had the same question mark a lot of us had when it came to Florian Jacky. Did we just draft him because of Arbor? I think we got our answer when we seen the behind the scenes of that. I think they realized Arbor was a unicorn. No one expected him, undrafted, and look at what he is, how solid he is of a player. And I think knowing that ingredient, they know that they need that type of grit up front as well. And how can you pass on it? So they wanted him right where they did draft him. They had every intention of drafting him where they drafted him. Yes, a lot of people can say he should have went later on, but that's how you lose a player of what you're banking on. And where he's a unicorn player, it doesn't hurt to take a shot in the dark because he already there's great reports coming out from his coach where he's playing at McKee that this kid already over the summer has just jumped leaps and bounds already within his game. So if he's anything like Arbor, these guys got a lot of heart, and I think he's exactly the type of grit we need. Someone who can protect his line mates up front, someone who can get nasty, drop the cuffs, and go fisticuff, and give us that edge because we're going to run into teams like Toronto who now are stacked with them. We're going to need all the help we can get. They can't be all on Arbor. So I see they look at him as a unicorn type player, which means he could be a shocker, a sleeper, and could turn out to be quite a gem. And I kind of have to go along with that. Now I at least understand why they drafted him so high. So that being said, that opens the gates and lets us know what went on, the work, and great to see a team here. Nice to see Montreal's organization finally letting us have a taste of a bit of what goes on behind the scenes. You would have never got that prior to. And this is a nice, refreshing change to see that and to see the process. And then, yes, a great process. And seeing Gorton and Hughes having the mindset they want people to argue it out. They're not going to hold grudges. They don't want a bunch of yes men, and thank God for that because you see how far that got the Bergevin regime. Everybody, oh yes sir, come on, that does not work, man. You want objective views so that you don't miss out on a great prospect, and we missed out on many, evidently. To think Kreider, we missed out on that, and we shouldn't have missed out on that. We shouldn't have missed out on Kachuk, you know. So that just goes to show you. So that being said, it was very refreshing, but I was kind of blown away that so many. I watch a lot of podcasts myself, and so many were acting surprised with what due diligence was taken by these organizations. Come on, guys. Be real. This is a multi-million dollar sport. Do you not expect that this is what's going to go on? There was no surprise here to me. If you played any amount of hockey and then you know it's going to go into the big leagues, a multi-million dollars, these guys are going to want to get the best bang for their buck. And if you want to build a good culture, you got your work cut out for you, and that's what Montreal's doing. So I'm very proud of what I say hats off to the Habs. I love what Gordon and Hughes are doing. Great job. And great job. And they, when they made these scouting decisions, they left it within the hands of the two top chief scouts, and that being Bobberoff and Lapointe. And that's where it belongs. Those guys are the ones that should be making the decisions on who we draft. And the GM can more focus on contracts and trades and stuff of that nature. Let the experts that are being paid to follow these players as they're coming up, follow them and let them do their job. And keep that objective. I like that objective mindset. But for some of the nonsense I hear out of a lot of these comments made in some of these podcasts is like everybody's, and this is quite fast. Like it was such a shock. Well, I don't think if you got common sense, it should be a shock. This did not surprise me in the least. So kudos to the Habs. And now, we go forward. And I also wanted to say that, I keep hearing the comments of, everybody just wants to totally not give Heineman the respect he is due. I like Waugh. I like a lot of our youngsters back, Yolan and Pinard. But I'm going to, because I put them all on an even keel. You earn your route. Had Heineman been in Laval when the injuries took place, he would have been here. He would have been up to Montreal before Pinard or Elonen, because he was already had made the team before he got injured in training camp last year. So you got to put your common sense straight forward. I don't know where this favoritism comes in with certain players. I think a year, unless Waugh has really, we'll find out if his skating has improved. But I think a year in Laval will do him good. Same thing with Pinard and Ylonen. I think they'll crack the lineup now. Although I think in Ylonen's case, where he's a centerman, I believe you're going to have to. I think we have to unload Evans, and I think it's time to do it because you don't want to lose uh, a talent as Ylonen who's earned it and he's ready for it now. And but for who's going to be, we need wingers now. And to me, the front runner, and it's hands down, it's not even close. Heineman is that much. He's got the professional experience. He shows it. He plays gritty. He's tough as nails. Can get nasty, and he's got the shot. He'll go to the dirty places, hands down. So you can try to degrade him all you want. You're wrong. You will find out you're wrong that this guy immediately takes a spot because he would have been there last year. And then it'll be Harvey Pinard and Elonen. And I just think back another year would do him good in like Laval. Let him go down there just so he builds up the beef. Same with although I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a call up through the year. The same thing with Machar. It wouldn't even be a bad thing if he finishes it off in the juniors. However, I think he's talented enough. He could be put in Laval. So, let those guys fill out their bodies. That's where they're needing it and get used to the North American game. The Machars, and between Machar and Beck, they can fill out their bodies because that's the only thing holding their game back a bit. So once they do that, that's fine. It's a little different when you look at, someone like Reinbacher. I don't see it this year, and it was nice to see the update at the end of the week that they brought him over. But I mean that's to be expected. Now that he's rested, you'll get even a better look at him than you did in that rookie camp, and he looked good there. So just imagine how he's going to look refreshed when he wasn't going. So of course he's going to be invited to the camp, and Does he maybe he does have the capability of jumping in the lineup right away. I don't think that's the plan. I think they'll let him go back home and finish like he wants. They'll respect his wishes and give him the time to be developed properly. It's not going to hurt him. We're in no hurry. We're not going to the Stanley Cup final anytime soon yet. So with that being said, although it's like I say, it's a feather in his cap. We're going to see a lot of interesting stuff. This is going to be a busy week coming up, and here onward, we're going to hear a lot of things now, and this is where the battle goes on. And we're going to see a lot come up now. But great jobs to the Habs. I say kudos to Hugo, and come on, guys. The rest of again, when with my podcast, some of these guys just want to, you know, a hot take, just make it catchy, fish, clickbait, clickbait you in and give you false news. You're not going to get that here at Center Heights. I will always shoot from the hip and give you the straight view of the situation. I'm not going to be like one or two podcasts that put out the Mayu story even before the big mistake from Rennie Lavoie, which we should have all known. I mean, yes, we all fell for it because so many different newscasts were reporting it, but it all that had come from Rennie Lavoie. And if you look at his track record, this is the type of reporter to me that needs to be, how do you say it in a polite way, put to sleep, because they'll put out any piece of information. So that's why I'm glad I really reiterated, and I wasn't the only one. There was a few of us that reiterated that this is what's being reported, and we said from Rennie Lavoie. But now the word is it's not so much the case. The green light hasn't been given to Mayu. He's supposedly coming from Francois Bouillon has been had the meeting. That's the word, because Bouillon works within the organization. And although we're waiting for Bettman to still give the approval. So there you go. That's with the smaller podcast, the odd one in particular, which I reported early on, reporting something that story even before that one broke, that had happened with Mayu, and it was a bunch of BS just so he could get views. That's not going to happen here. I will not kiss anybody's tush that way and lie. You will get straight up, and I will shoot from the hips, whether you like it or not. I'm going to tell you the true end of the case. And hats off to guys like Junkie. He's same page. We think so much alike. Anytime I watch Junkie's show, I tend to see we're 99.9% of the time on the same page. So anyways, thank you for watching. Where's the puck drop first? Here at Center Hice. Don't forget that, please. Tell your friends and family, hit the likes and the subscribes, and we will catch you in the next episode. We felt it necessary to give you our point of view on that back scenes video of how it went in the drafting process. So thank you for watching. We will catch you in the next one. God bless.